Good morning.
Good morning.
Got our coffee here. And
yeah, well, this is only our first pot, though, isn't it?
yeah, we need more. It's going to be one of those weekends.
Yeah. And I promise I won't be as wired as I was in, yesterday's Throwback Thursday. I'm watching and thinking, oh my God, I was wired. But a whole lot has changed since then, too. I mean,
yeah,
it's interesting when we sat down to figure out which one we were going to use. We sat and watched that, and I thought, man, how many connections we were making back then with a whole lot less study behind us, as opposed now. Like, if you watch the video and seeing where Kim typed in the caption, the Pauline Christians, that wasn't in the original video. But now that we've done more study and research regarding that and how those Jesus followers and the Pauline Christians were actually butting heads, so we actually added that in. It's like, wow, how much more study and research we've done since those early days. But yet we've remained on the same page, haven't we?
Yeah, and the talk I put up from Raymond France, it was kind of weird hearing him as a fully indoctrinated Jehovah Witness giving a talk. And it's like, wow, that was really weird. But when I found that, it's like, oh, I've got to put that one up. So,
yeah, so if you guys haven't had a chance to, watch those, please give them a look and just be kind to us, because we were much different people back then.
Well, I was going to say, the video of ours, was the Apostle Paul and Apostate. That was from the fall of 2013. So that was when we were first, out and had just been newly disfellowshipped and,
like I just said, it's just amazing how even back in that earlier time, how much we had already started connecting dots with all of this. Like, wow.
And we want to thank everyone so much. We've been reading comments, and my goodness, you guys have been putting research in your links, and it's just amazing. Even the final video from the convention of 2018, many of you had said, wait a minute, Christ doesn't have, a bow and arrow. It's Michael the Archangel.
It's Michael the Archangel. Yeah, it's Michael.
And I know many of you have asked us to do a video about this, and with so much going on, we just haven't had time. But we want to thank you so much, and everybody, who's been doing research and your comments and even your funny ones that give us a laugh. Thank you. We keep saying greatest viewers ever.
Yes.
But on to a serious matter this morning. I want to thank Reclaim Voices. There was an PM in my Facebook this morning from them. And there's a lot going on in the Netherlands. Many of you know that we did that interview that Emmanuel had translated for us, and that Minnie had sent us the link to that nighttime show, the RTL, I believe, with the interview with the Reclaim Voices, co-founders. But I wanted to mention there is a YouTube channel.
Ruud van Lieberloo, I think that's how it's pronounced.
And we apologize, we're American.
Yeah. We know how to slaughter any language, even our own.
Yeah, so we apologize if that is not the correct name, but we're going to put the link down below to their YouTube channel, and they have several news stories that's been going on in the Netherlands. Now, if you start the video, and down at the bottom, right underneath the video, you will see a little square box or what looks like a TV screen with CC in it, and that means closed caption. Right. If you click on that, it will start the captions in your language, and it actually does a pretty good job with the English translation. And even if you have to pause the video, to read the captions. But these are important because there's a lot going on, and they're trying to get their government to investigate the Jehovah Witness with the child abuse problem. Now, I'm also going to put the link down below to an article here from the RTL News. And it basically says the same thing as the last video on this channel. And it talks about the lower house requires independent investigation into abuse of Jehovah's Witnesses. An independent investigation must be conducted into the sexual abuse of Jehovah's Witnesses. This requires a majority in the House of Representatives. At a special hotline, almost 300 victims have reported themselves. And I just want to mention that when we put that interview up from RTL a couple of weeks ago, there was about 220 victims at that point.
Yeah, so more came forward.
Yeah, almost 300 victims have reported themselves. Earlier, Minister Decker of Legal Protection decided that such a research did not come about because of Jehovah's self did not want to cooperate. Google Translate.
Yeah.
He called that disappointing, but he left it at that. Now a majority of the SP, PVDA, and CDA, groin links, and the VVD wants to have an independent investigation done. So let's hope that Reclaim Voices can get in there and, you know, push them and try to get this investigation. Yeah. And I would love to see a royal commission or a parliament commission, whatever you call it. You know, here in the United States we call them Senate hearings, but I would love to see that happen in the Netherlands about this.
Yeah. See, and the really sad thing about all of this is that in the minds of those that are still fully indoctrinated, you know, like your mother and my mother, they're going to believe, you know, Watchtower's pre-programmed talks at their district convention saying, oh, the Assyrians about ready to turn on us. You know, this whole concoction, this whole mythology that they built up in the minds of Jehovah's Witnesses is that, you know, these governments are going to turn on God's people because, you know, we're the only ones that have the truth. And they won't stop and look at the entire picture, Jehovah's Witnesses. It's not because people are coming after you because of your religious belief system. They're coming after you because you're hiding child sexual abuse, and you've been hiding it for decades. The only difference between then and now is that the medium, the internet, YouTube in particular, the sharing of information is much, much more accessible. But even with that being said, they're still going to believe that, you know, what Watchtower says, you know, here comes the Assyrians, you know, through the battlefield with their guns pointed at us, and here's the heavens opening up, and here comes Michael. Oops, I mean Jesus. Wait a minute, what is it? Michael or Jesus? I mean...
Well, they believe he's the same.
Well, they believe he's one and the same, and they have no concept that you're talking two different characters in this biblical storyline, and they can't even figure that out. But here comes this, you know, Jesus to the rescue. Well, I have a serious question for you, Jehovah's Witnesses. Answer this question. If, and John Newsom made a very good point on the latest video that he had done, why is it that your God Jehovah can provide the needed sand out of a, you know, storm at sea to build a kingdom hall in this remote little obscure island? Jehovah can do that, but he can't stop this. You see, why aren't you praying to Jehovah to stop the expose worldwide on the child sexual abuse? You know, and just like John mentioned in his video, when your kingdom hall is on fire, why don't you pray to Jehovah to put the fire out? Instead, you got to call the fire department. Or, you know, when one of your brothers is being attacked by, you know, an alleged apostate, you call the police. When your kingdom halls are getting crashed, you call the police. Why don't you call out to Jehovah to have, you know, fire come out of heaven to strike the apostate dead, just like Elijah did during the test of Baal? You won't do that because you know deep in your mind that's not how it's going to work. That's not how it's going to work. But yet, when Jehovah miraculously provides sand out of a sea storm, oh, we're going to give credit to Jehovah for that. But yet, when your kingdom hall is on fire, Jehovah is powerless to put it out.
Well, that brings up a good question. You know me, I'm always full of questions. They say, oh, don't report this to the police because you'll bring reproach on Jehovah's organization. Now, how many victims out there that we have talked to and that we know of who were told, leave it in Jehovah's hands because the perpetrator, the pedophile, did not confess. Okay? How do you know that all these decades of leaving it in Jehovah's hands, that now he's exposing it and trying to get it cleaned out, and you're preventing this?
Full recompense. You're right, because you
reap what you sow.
When you read this article, you'll see that the Jehovah's Witnesses in the Netherlands are not cooperating with authorities. Well, why? Because, you know, they're the Assyrians. They're the Babylonians coming after us. They're the ones that want to shut us down. How do you, Jehovah's Witnesses, not be able to see that maybe, like Kim mentioned, all of these decades, all of these victims have been leaving it in Jehovah's hands, and now Jehovah is doing something about it? There's a huge conflict in this theology. Because they leave it in Jehovah's hands to take care of it, but yet when the government gets hold of it, we're under the attack by the Assyrians.
Well, I was going to say, they mention a victim of child abuse here in the article. His name is Steve, and he's, of course, you know, you are free to go to the police, but we don't recommend it because it puts Jehovah's Witnesses in a bad light.
Jehovah's name.
But the minister said in February that he cannot do much because he cannot oblige them to cooperate in an investigation. And this is the Prime Minister, I believe, who, is member of Parliament. He did, however, advise victims to report to the police. But that threshold is too high. And we know, you know, what that means. It means you lose your congregation, your friends, your family. You lose everything, and you know your foundation is pulled out from under you when you go to the police, because then you're shunned for bringing reproach on Jehovah's organization.
Really, this is a God that can provide sand out of a sea storm, but he's worried about a little reproach on his name regarding child sexual abuse?
Yeah, and they're mentioning that they want the minister to appoint an independent researcher, and he will ask for research in the culture of closedness for people who have experiences with sexual abuse, who have stepped out of the community, or people who are still in today and have signals or no stories. So they're encouraging, you know, victims to come forward in the Netherlands. And like I said, I'm going to put the link down below to this article. It will actually be the link to the Google Translate so you can read it in English. And the link to the YouTube channel, like I said, just click on the closed captions, and it does a fairly good job of translating this. So let's hope, you know, and do all we can to help the Netherlands, you know, and reclaim voices, you know, to get this out and to help the victims to speak up.
Yeah. You see, Watchtower, you don't have to worry about the Assyrians coming after you. You have to worry about the ex-members coming after you because, well, we now have a voice. The victims now have a voice. You know, whether you were sexually abused, whether you feel you were spiritually abused. I mean, we all know that even from a spiritual perspective, we've been lied to 100%. The end was supposed to come in 1914. World War II would surely come into the, you know, the great Armageddon. 1975 is the end, so let's sell all our trailers and sell all our homes and get into the full-time preaching work. We were lied to systematically.
Well, the fear alone put into kids, indoctrinated into kids about Armageddon, that alone is spiritual abuse.
Yeah, exactly. So anyhow, I guess we'll leave it at this. We've rambled on enough.
Yes. And like I said, please go watch these news reports. They're very good to see that, you know, this investigation is getting going in the Netherlands. And let's hope, you know, that Reclaim Voices can get a foot in the door with Parliament and the House of Representatives.
And the more of these news reports that are shared among ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, the louder and stronger our voices will become.
Yeah, exactly. So let's share this everywhere. And we want to thank everybody for everything. And we hope you have a wonderful weekend.
Bye.
Bye.
Er moet toch een onafhankelijk onderzoek komen naar het seksueel misbruik bij Jehovah's getuigen. Dat wil een meerderheid van de Tweede Kamer. Bij een speciaal meldpunt hebben zich inmiddels al bijna 300 slachtoffers gemeld. Eerder besloot minister Dekker van Rechtsbescherming dat onderzoek er niet kwam, omdat de Jehovah's zelf niet wilden meewerken.
Steve is een van de slachtoffers van seksueel misbruik bij de Jehovah's. Als kind werd hij misbruikt. Hem werd verteld dat hij beter niet naar de politie kon gaan.
Dus je staat natuurlijk vrij om naar de politie te gaan. Maar we raden het wel af, want dat zal eigenlijk Joodse getuigen in een kwaad daglicht stellen.
De Jehovah's willen het probleem van seksueel misbruik intern oplossen. De minister zegt erom dat hij niet veel kan doen, want hij kan ze niet verplichten mee te werken aan een onderzoek.
Slachtoffers die daarmee te maken hebben, raad ik echt aan om daarvan aangifte te doen bij de politie.
Maar die drempel ligt te hoog, horen Kamerleden van de slachtoffers.
Wij horen ook dat er mensen wel bereid zijn om met een onafhankelijk onderzoeker te praten. Dat de drempel daarvan lager is dan die hele hoge stap, die eigenlijk onomkeerbaar is, naar de politie te gaan.
Dat de Jehovah's zelf niet willen meewerken mag geen reden zijn om geen onderzoek te doen, vindt de Kamer.
Ik wil dat de minister een onafhankelijk onderzoeker gaat benoemen en gaat vragen om dus onderzoek te doen naar de cultuur van geslotenheid. Naar mensen die ervaringen hebben met seksueel misbruik, die uit de gemeenschap zijn gestapt, of mensen die er vandaag de dag nog binnenin zitten en ook signalen hebben of verhalen kennen.
Het meldpunt Reclaimed Voices, die opkomt voor de slachtoffers, laat weten blij te zijn dat de Kamer inziet dat een onafhankelijk onderzoek noodzakelijk is.